Welcome to the hidden wealth coins. A tiny dime in your pocket could secretly be a life-changing treasure. Rare 1967 Roosevelt Dime and 1983 Roosevelt Dime coins have stunned collectors with unbelievable values. In perfect condition or with rare mint errors, these small coins might be worth thousands or even more. Before you spend one, take a closer look. Your fortune could be hiding in plain sight. First up, when people think about rare coins worth millions of dollars, their minds usually jump to ancient gold coins or extremely old silver pieces hidden in museums. But sometimes the real surprise comes from a tiny modern coin that many people have handled countless times without realizing its hidden potential. One such coin is the 1983 Roosevelt Dime from the United States. At first glance, it looks like a normal 10-cent coin that might buy almost nothing today. Yet certain versions of this coin have captured the attention of collectors across the world. In rare conditions, with special mint characteristics or unusual minting errors, this small piece of metal can become incredibly valuable, turning an ordinary discovery into a life-changing moment for someone lucky enough to find it. The Roosevelt Dime itself has a fascinating background connected to one of the most influential presidents in American history, Franklin D. Roosevelt. After his passing in 1945, the United States government decided to honor him with a coin bearing his image. Roosevelt had been strongly connected to the fight against polio and supported the March of Dimes charity, which is why the 10-cent coin was chosen for this tribute. When the design was released in 1946, it quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in American circulation. For decades it passed from hand to hand in shops, markets, and banks, rarely attracting attention from everyday people who never imagined that some of these small coins might one day become collectible treasures. By the time the year 1983 arrived, the Roosevelt Dime had already been circulating for nearly 4 decades. The United States Mint continued producing millions of these coins each year to keep up with demand for everyday change. Most of them were struck in copper-nickel-clad metal rather than silver, a change that had been introduced in the 1960s to reduce the cost of coin production. Because the coin was so common, people rarely paid attention to the year stamped beneath Roosevelt's portrait. Yet among the millions produced in 1983, a few examples were created under unusual circumstances that would later make them extremely desirable to coin collectors. One of the most interesting facts about the 1983 Roosevelt Dime is that the United States Mint did not release official mint sets that year for collectors. Mint sets are special packages containing pristine coins directly from the mint, and collectors usually rely on them to obtain perfect examples of each year's coinage. Because no official mint sets were issued in 1983, collectors had to search through circulation to find high-quality examples of the dime. This unexpected situation created a shortage of perfectly preserved coins from that year, which later increased their value dramatically when collectors began competing to find the best surviving pieces. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin that looks ordinary in worn condition may suddenly become extremely valuable if it exists in flawless mint condition. When collectors examine a 1983 Roosevelt Dime, they carefully study the shine of the metal, the sharpness of Roosevelt's hair details, and the clarity of the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse side. If the coin appears untouched by circulation and still carries its original mint luster, it can achieve a high grading score from professional grading companies. High-graded examples are rare precisely because so few pristine coins were saved from circulation that year. Collectors often talk about grading levels such as MS65, MS67, or even higher. These numbers represent the quality of a coin on a professional scale, where higher numbers indicate better preservation. For the 1983 Roosevelt Dime, coins graded in extremely high mint state levels are very difficult to find. When such coins appear at major auctions, they can sell for surprisingly high prices. While most 1983 dimes are worth only their face value of 10 cents, a perfect specimen graded near the top of the scale can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars from serious collectors eager to complete their sets. Another reason the 1983 Roosevelt Dime attracts attention is the possibility of mint errors. During the coin minting process, massive machines strike blank metal discs with enormous pressure to imprint the design. Occasionally something unusual happens during this process, creating coins with striking mistakes. These errors may include doubled designs, off-center strikes, or unusual metal flow patterns. When a 1983 dime is discovered with a dramatic mint error, collectors immediately become interested because such pieces are extremely scarce and often unique. Era coins tell a fascinating story about how coins are produced inside the mint. Imagine huge presses striking thousands of coins every minute while workers carefully monitor the process. Even with advanced technology, small imperfections can occur, and when they do, they sometimes escape into circulation before anyone notices. Years later, a collector might examine a coin under magnification and suddenly realize that something unusual has happened during the minting process. At that moment, an ordinary dime transforms into a collectible artifact with a story that adds excitement and mystery to the world of numismatics. The reverse design of the Roosevelt dime also carries symbolic meaning that collectors appreciate. At the center stands a torch representing liberty, while the olive branch symbolizes peace and the oak branch represents strength and independence. These symbols reflect the ideals that the United States hopes to project through its currency. Even though the coin is small, its design communicates powerful ideas about freedom and national identity. For collectors who love history, holding such a coin can feel like holding a tiny piece of American heritage. Over the years, many coin enthusiasts have spent countless hours searching through rolls of dimes from banks hoping to discover rare examples from specific years. The 1983 Roosevelt dime often appears on their search lists because of its unusual history and the difficulty of finding pristine specimens. Some collectors even tell stories of discovering high-grade examples in unexpected places such as old coin jars, inherited collections, or forgotten bank rolls stored away for decades. These discoveries remind people that valuable coins can sometimes hide in plain sight. The possibility that a small coin might hold hidden value is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Unlike many other hobbies, numismatics offers the thrill of treasure hunting in everyday life. Anyone might receive a coin in change at a store without realizing that it has special characteristics that collectors desire. While the chance of finding a truly valuable coin is small, the excitement of searching keeps collectors motivated and passionate about studying the details of each coin they encounter. Professional coin grading companies also play an important role in determining the value of coins like the 1983 Roosevelt dime. When a collector believes they have discovered a high-quality or unusual coin, they may send it to a grading service where experts carefully examine it under magnification. The coin is then sealed in a protective holder with an official grade that helps buyers and sellers trust its authenticity and condition. Once a coin receives a top grade, its market value can increase dramatically because collectors know they are purchasing a verified high-quality example. Second up, when most people see a small 10-cent coin, they usually ignore it without thinking twice. It looks ordinary, lightweight, and almost insignificant compared to larger coins or paper money. But sometimes history hides extraordinary value inside the smallest objects. One such coin that has captured the imagination of collectors is the 1967 Roosevelt dime from the United States. At first glance, it appears to be a simple everyday coin, yet certain rare examples of this tiny dime have become incredibly desirable among collectors. In exceptional condition or with unusual minting characteristics, this coin can transform from a common piece of change into a remarkable collectible worth far more than its original face value. The Roosevelt dime itself carries a deep historical connection to the life of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the American president whose portrait appears on the front of the coin. After Roosevelt passed away in 1945, the United States decided to honor his legacy by placing his image on the 10-cent coin beginning in 1946. Roosevelt had been strongly associated with the fight against polio and supported a charity campaign known as the March of Dimes. Because of this connection, the dime became the perfect tribute to his efforts and dedication. For decades afterward, millions of these coins circulated across America, quietly carrying Roosevelt's image through markets, banks, and everyday transactions. By the time 1967 arrived, the United States was going through a major transition in its coinage system. Just a few years earlier, silver had been removed from dimes and replaced with a copper-nickel-clad composition. This change happened because silver prices were rising and the government needed a more affordable metal for coin production. As a result, the 1967 Roosevelt dime was produced using the new clad metal structure. While this made the coin cheaper to manufacture, it also marked an important turning point in American coin history, separating modern dimes from the older silver ones that collectors had known for generations. Another interesting feature of coins from 1967 is that the United States Mint temporarily removed mint marks during that period. Normally, coins display small letters that identify the mint where they were produced, such as Philadelphia or Denver. However, during the mid-1960s coin shortage, the government removed these mint marks to discourage collectors from hoarding coins. Because of this decision, every 1967 Roosevelt dime appears without a mint mark, which makes the year unique and memorable in the long timeline of American coinage. Millions of these dimes were produced and released into circulation during 1967, meaning most examples are still very common today. Yet collectors know that rarity does not always depend on how many coins were minted. Instead, the true rarity often lies in the condition of the surviving pieces. A coin that has spent decades moving through pockets, cash registers, and vending machines will usually show scratches and wear. But if a 1967 Roosevelt dime somehow remained untouched and preserved in brilliant mint condition, it suddenly becomes far more interesting to collectors who search for flawless examples. When professional graders examine coins, they use a detailed scale to measure condition. They study the shine of the metal, the sharpness of the design, and the absence of damage or wear. On the Roosevelt dime, collectors pay close attention to Roosevelt's hair details, the clarity of his profile, and the crisp lines of the torch on the reverse side. If a coin shows perfect luster and extremely sharp details, it can receive a high mint state grade. These high-grade examples are the ones that attract serious collectors willing to pay impressive prices for the best specimens. The reverse side of the 1967 Roosevelt dime carries a design that symbolizes important national values. At the center stands a torch representing liberty and enlightenment. Beside the torch is an olive branch symbolizing peace, while the oak branch represents strength and endurance. Although the coin is small, these elements give it a powerful artistic identity. Many collectors admire this design because it captures the spirit of American ideals within a tiny circular canvas of metal. Another reason collectors carefully examine 1967 dimes is the possibility of mint errors. During the minting process, huge machines strike blank metal discs with tremendous pressure to create coins. Occasionally small mistakes happen during this process. A coin might be struck slightly off-center, show doubling in the design, or display unusual metal patterns. These minting errors are extremely fascinating to collectors because they represent rare moments when the manufacturing process produced something unexpected. When an error coin from 1967 is discovered, it can instantly become the center of attention among numismatists. Error coins are often scarce because only a few manage to escape the mint before being noticed. A dramatic error on a Roosevelt dime could turn a simple 10-cent coin into a highly collectible item. Some collectors even spend years studying coin rolls and old collections, hoping to uncover one of these unusual pieces that slipped through the minting system decades ago. The excitement of coin collecting often comes from the idea that treasure might still be hiding in everyday places. Many valuable coins have been discovered in old jars of change, forgotten bank rolls, or family collections passed down through generations. Someone might inherit a small box of coins and only later realize that one of them is a rare and valuable example. This sense of discovery keeps collectors motivated and makes the hobby feel like a continuous treasure hunt. Professional grading services also play an important role in the modern coin market. When collectors believe they have found a high-quality 1967 Roosevelt dime, they may send it to experts for evaluation. These specialists carefully examine the coin and assign an official grade before sealing it inside a protective holder. This process helps buyers and sellers trust the authenticity and condition of the coin, which is essential when valuable collectibles are being traded. In the world of auctions, rare coins often create dramatic moments. Collectors from around the world compete for the finest examples of specific coins, sometimes pushing prices far higher than expected. While most 1967 Roosevelt dimes remain worth only their face value, extraordinary specimens in exceptional condition or with rare mint errors can achieve impressive results when collectors compete to own them. These moments remind people that even the smallest objects can gain remarkable importance over time.